Last week on Loyalty and Leaks, a three-cornered Conservative contest is declared after the Prime Minister parachutes former Labor Party boss Warren Mundine into the seat of Gilmore, forcing Liberal Party faithful Grant Shultz to run as an independent, and prompts a new candidate to join the political battle, former National Party Vice President Katrina Hodgkinson. Tonight, in the finale of the untold story of Gilmore, the PM's plan fails. The Liberals lose the seat after more than 2 decades. Blame games begin, secrets are revealed, but who won the war and who is left standing in the gripping finale of Loyalty and Leaks?
I'm Joanna Gash and I'm standing for Gilmore, but I won't stand for politicians promising to improve conditions without delivering. Better government that listens to the people is what I'm standing for.
Authorised by a T-note for the Liberal Party Sydney.
I'm standing at a spot just 150 kilometres south of Sydney called Crookhaven Heads. In front of me is the Pacific Ocean, and behind me is the gateway to the electorate of Gilmore. And for John Howard and the Liberals, Gilmore is the gateway to government. Going into battle for John Howard is Joanna Gash.
They want the truth, they want to meet the person, they want to see the candidate, and that's what we're all about.
And although she obtained pre-selection amid much controversy, she now claims all has been forgotten and forgiven.
Every branch has been totally behind us, and we might have had one or two who were a little bit wary about the pre-selection, but they have come back.
One thing both candidates do agree on is the amount of time they must spend on the ground. Visibility is the catch cry in this marginal campaign, and only the blind could fail to notice.
We have been door knocking since September, every part of the electorate, and the electorate has now been totally covered.
And is it working?
I'll know on the 2nd of March.
Hi, Ned. How are you? Don't worry about the old guys. Oh, okay. Run him over. Run the basket over.
Pole position, Gareth.
Absolutely.
From today.
35 days of this game. Well, I don't see visual politicking. I only see one. I only see one. I don't see the others. I'm just focused on obviously what we're doing and where we're headed.
That's right. I know what I need is a coffee. Does anyone want a coffee?
Oh, yes, please, Gareth.
Will you be seeking a promotion?
Yes. I think if we're re-elected to government, I'd like to have the opportunity to be a minister and do other things on top of serving my community.
Well, I'm going to be supporting you all the way too, so anyone can do that.
After we get through this state election, we'll be out there calling for.
When the Prime Minister approached me, I made it quite clear that this is the seat I wanted to come into, and he supported that.
What does he owe the PM now as a result of that? That's the question I'd like to know.
Why don't you just do it the normal way?
Well, as I said to you, the Prime Minister rang me, and that was in late last year.
Good question. Good question.
And he won me over in regard to coming here.
Why did the PM want him so desperately? And clearly the PM's well and truly out of touch with this electorate. Absolutely out of touch.
Well, I think there's a conservative three-ring circus. That's what I think there is. You know, they couldn't choose one candidate, they chose three.
Oh. Okay, love you too.
Okay, Fiona can describe it as she wants.
There is no way that I'm going to see Labor take this seat.
Who's the ringleader?
I don't know. I think it's pretty hard to work that out.
I've been very upfront with my own Liberal branch and told them that I'd be supporting Katrina and as a three-cornered contest and providing a choice.
They've been too focused on their own internal politics and not on the people that actually elected them.
Were you involved in those internal politics?
Well, look, it's simple. My politics were quite non-factional. My plan was to unite rather than divide.
I'm not resigning from the Liberal Party. If they choose to throw me out, well, there'll be a few others that they'll have to throw as well. You know, one's working for the independents and comments have been made by state members, so I'm not the only one.
I take your point, though, that what I'm doing as an independent has an element of division about it, but the other thing is there's choice.
You said to me, you know, what are you keeping an eye on? Well, why would I keep an eye on federal candidates?
Age will not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
For many reasons, today was a really important and very special day, basically because of the Voyager disaster that occurred 55 years ago today.
82 lives were lost. 82 lives lost.
That son never returned. That family was never the same.
And today is a fitting way to commemorate those who lost their lives.
Every election is difficult. Every election is close. And you have to really be judged on your merit and on your record of achievement. And I'm committed to the South Coast community, as I have been since 2003 when I was first elected. But I don't take anything for granted at all. This will be a close race.
Do you see this as your last term, Shelley, at the moment?
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Have you spoken to Shelley at all in regards to helping her out in the state election? Standing up?
I haven't been invited to do that, and I think I have commitments that weekend. I just have to check my diary.
Federal member away for the state election too, is she? Okay, fine. Terrific.
Oh, sorry.
You're right. You answer.
It's Nick Greiner. National President of the Liberal Party. I'll call him back.
You been getting any phone calls from Nick Greiner at all?
Not at all. From who?
From Nick Greiner? Have you had a phone call from Nick Greiner?
No.
No, I haven't.
Hey Nick, how are you?
Is anyone else getting phone calls?
Can I call you back? Do you mind? I'm just... All right. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Unusual that you get a phone call from him on a Saturday morning?
No, not usual. Not unusual.
I see you get regular calls from Nick.
I talk to him when I need to.
Is he hoping to get your support for the Gilmore?
I don't know. I just spoke to him for 30 seconds, as you just saw.
Did you get many phone calls from Nick Greiner at all?
Not at all. Ever.
What influence do you have in Gilmore?
Well, it just so happens that you happened to be here with a camera when I was getting a phone call from Nick, and it's not unusual for me to talk to Nick Greiner or other people, everyone from premiers to prime ministers, when you're trying to get things done for your community. Right. Right to go?
Welcome to my electorate.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. This morning we're launching the South Coast Marine Tourism Strategy.
So who does all the work and who takes all the credit?
He takes the credit. We both do the work and he takes the credit.
I'll let my record speak for itself.
I don't know much about Gareth, and I don't need to. I'm here for the people of Kiama.
What are the people telling you?
The people tell me it's time for change.
We're working very closely together. Don't see that from the Labor candidates. I mean, gosh, you had the leader of the Federal Labor Party and the State Labor Party, and they didn't clearly want one of the candidates there the other night, did they?
Who? Oh, I wasn't he there?
Yeah, Smiggins. Biggins. What's his name?
I don't know.
Higgins. Oh, that's right. Higgins.
Yeah.
How well do you know Gareth? How much?
0.
The Nats have opened up a pre-selection for the seat of Gilmore. Are you expecting that Katrina may be challenged in that pre-selection?
That won't be a pre-selection, it'll be a coronation.
She won't be challenged at all.
No.
She won't be challenged. She's told us that. She hasn't been challenged, so she'll be endorsed next weekend.
I just asked Katrina if she had any word on the pre-selection, and she just wrote back, yes, I'm pre-selected. Okay, so if we can get mundane, we'll get mundane. If we can't get mundane...
I think he's the only other one you need to worry about, because it's a contest between him and her, really, isn't it?
Absolutely delighted to have been given the tick of approval to be able to officially stand as the pre-selected candidate for Gilmore for the National Party.
Is this going to help the government, having a three-corner contest?
Well, look, this is something that's nothing new. This has been going on for decades.
I'm so thrilled to have Michael McCormick, our Deputy Prime Minister, here to officially kick off the campaign.
Well, if Katrina's excited, I'm doubly excited. I am so pleased that she's putting her hand up for the seat of Gilmore, for the Nationals.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah, campaign going good?
It's going very well.
Yes.
This is caretaker mode. It's caretaker mode.
She won't let go of this one.
So they're not allowed in,
Caretaker. So we're in caretaker mode, so that means media aren't allowed in, and we'll wait and see what they have to say.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome, Minister, again, once
you.
again. We're here at the side of the Bay and Basin Police Station. We've been here many times before for the sod turning. I've been here so many times to actually look at progress. More important, though, this is a fantastic site. It's central to Sanctuary Point, but I think we ended up with the best site, Minister.
The announcements are coming out thick and fast. People might be sceptical and say that, you know, just because there are votes on the line, you're making your presence felt. Is that the case?
Well, I've been working on this proposal for years, not weeks, not days, years on this proposal.
Are you feeling the heat for the seat of South Coast?
Look, you know, no election is just a walk-in. It's a shoe-in. It's not. Every election will be close. This will be close.
So currently it's Sunday morning and Anne Samalas is emptying out her office. Wonder where that will go. She's in there somewhere. I just need to find her. Here comes something else. Cornflakes, signs. And there's Anne herself.
It's just working out what goes. Yeah.
Looks like I found out where that stuff's going from Anne Samalas' office. You can nearly say this is musical chairs, Joe.
Indeed. We're moving the last of our furniture in and hopefully to open the office during the week.
We did a print run with the expectation we'd be here for another 3 years.
It is very important that you cover yourself for everything that we do, and we do. We make it absolutely sure. That's why we're doing things in the daylight. We could do it at night, in the dark. Not necessary.
Sad day?
Not really sad, just there's a degree of moving on from one activity to the next.
Certainly there are a number of people who don't like me, in fact would love to see me go under.
Last time we spoke about your thoughts of resigning from the Liberal Party or possibly being booted out of the Liberal Party. Has anything developed since we last spoke?
I've had a warning, so to speak. I know who put it in. There was a photo of me sitting in a Katrina Hodgkinson shirt at the Kangaroo Valley show, and I know full well the person who took my photo.
So you say you know who it is. Obviously, you're accusing Gareth Ward, is that right?
No, I'm not accusing Gareth Ward. In this instance, it wasn't him. One of the candidates.
Mundine.
No comment.
I hope you're not paying anyone to pull my signs down.
No, definitely not.
Got it from his mouth.
They haven't had someone who's a local.
Pleased to declare the campaign office here open.
Why was Gilmore different? Why?
Media's turned up. Was that a fair interview?
It's always a fair interview, not unlike you. Unlike you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your curly questions?
Yeah, he's already asked them to.
Oh, really?
You did have a tough year last year.
Yeah.
At any time did you think maybe it's time for me to step down and not run?
In the week after Ben's death, I thought we couldn't do this. I thought I couldn't do this anymore. I have to be with Rachel all of the time. And now she's come to live with me after the tragic death of her husband in a shocking farm accident, really shocking. She's come to live with me with the 3 grandchildren, and we're getting on with things, you know. She's got the kids at school and preschool. We're coping really well. I mean, it's just been really difficult, really, really difficult. But we're getting there. We're getting ourselves out of the big black hole that we were in. Got some helpers today. I got 2 of my grandchildren today. And there are times when they will be with me on the campaign trail too. Oh, there we go. There they are, turning the first sod. And I don't like to kind of use the grandkids, you know, but sometimes I have to take them with me because that's the way it is. And I will do that, you know, they will be with me. I think I was about to watch the 7:30 report on a Friday night. Yeah. I remember that, and we just threw things in the car, clothes, and just drove straight out there. And we stayed there for 7 weeks, so I wasn't in this electorate for 7 weeks. We stayed with her. They were tough days. Yep.
Underway, and it seems that the more things change, the more things stay the same. The Greens and Labor have done a preference deal in an attempt to get rid of me. Of course, they tried last time.
Secret's out.
Mwah. You good?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, excellent.
Good.
What's even more ridiculous this time is that you have a coal miner preferencing somebody who wants to get rid of coal mining and vice versa.
You know what, I just have to filter it out because it's not truth. It's not the truth. I'm not preferencing a coal miner because as a person, personally, I see Andy as a human being who he's got a good heart and I know he wants to make a difference like I do.
It's nice to see that she bases her voting preferences and intentions on who she's been told is a good bloke.
good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
Andy Higgins, very well, that's me.
Okay.
I'm just an average guy. I'm a tradesman. I work in the coal mines. Hey?
Reeling them in.
Reeling them in. Labour, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank
coal
you very
miner.
much.
Good on you. Cheers.
What about scraps at pre-poll?
Haven't seen any of those yet.
Not yet. It may happen.
Not yet.
May happen. Gareth, you want to sort him out, mate?
What's he doing?
He's giving me lip.
Is he? Oh.
Yep. You've got, you don't want these young Liberals getting bloody. Country Labor, mate, Andy Higgins.
No worries.
Thank you. I hope you're not paying anyone to pull my signs down.
No, definitely not.
Got it from his mouth.
Definitely not. No,
there's the playing field, it's all set.
It was placed illegally. The owners of the property were not impressed. They contacted my office. In fact, it was suggested that we make a bit of a thing out of it. I wasn't interested in that. It was illegally placed. It's been taken down. End of story.
Through a friend of the Liberal Party, the sign was taken down. Go get some votes, Gareth. Get some votes, buddy. And I really feel that I can represent the community, and that's why I'm one of us.
Here we are, we're up and running, a line in the sand in that respect. They haven't had someone who's a local, and that is why we are going to change the game. We're going to give people the opportunity to have a real voice in Parliament. As I said, I've changed the game. They know it. I can tell you, they're worried, and they should be. People have had enough.
I am not, I'm not flippant about this at all. It's going to be a very tough fight.
Okay, so thanks everybody for being here, and I am absolutely overjoyed to be able to introduce and host Barnaby Joyce here, one of my great mates from Parliament.
Katrina Hodgkinson, long-time person on the land, long-time family on the land.
My friend Katrina or my new friend Warren, either one of those candidates would
The question I have for the Nats is, why don't they run in Whitlam, in her own seat?
A lot of the time I think, probably lose. And then I think, well, that shouldn't stop me from running anyway.
Barnaby, you said you're backing Katrina, so should voters be voting for the Nationals over the
Barnaby
Liberals?
Joyce is shoring up his leadership challenge by ensuring that he gets her vote if she gets elected.
Scotty coming here, is he?
Yeah, Mr. Morrison.
Oh, bullshit, huh?
That's good. Warren's candidacy speaks about the aspiration of all Australians.
The Prime Minister's made a lot about the Liberal Party being democratic and electing its representatives. Why was Gilmore different? Why?
Congratulations, Warren. Thank you so much for being on the team, and I'm very, very pleased to declare the campaign office here open.
Open. Thank you very much. Joe Gash has enormous sway, or had enormous sway at least, in this electorate. But she's taking that from her own party and using it to defeat their candidate and an independent.
This is our version of the Sharkies.
So you're saying that Joe Gash played the Prime Minister?
Yeah, Neil sucked in.
I'm pretty sorted with where I'm going.
You voting for change, Anne?
Liberals have been doing a pretty good job, you know.
Hello, this is Shelley Hancock, your local MP. This election is important. That's why I've taken the unusual step of calling to tell you about my plan for South Coast.
Oh yeah, look, I never went in this thinking it's going to be easy. You know, there's no point in sitting back and whinging about things. You've actually got to do something, and this is a great way to do something.
The poll's saying that you're not polling well?
No.
Always play to win, said that before. You don't have to play to lose.
What's your safe seat?
I don't think they're voting.
I'm pulling out the big guns, mate.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you?
Hello.
Warren Mundine said you're not human when it comes to campaigning.
Did he say that, did he?
Morning, mate.
What's happening?
How are ya?
Jared.
Almost 9:30, mate. How you feeling?
Mate, the vibe's good.
What are you going to say? I love a Queen bloke like you stays. He hates your guts.
Really? Oh, good. Excellent.
Oh, mate, don't get
like
confident, mate. We have to be. We've been copping too much crap from these Liberals.
The game didn't start 8 weeks ago. The game...
All politics aside, mate, the guy works hard and delivers for his community.
He's here to elevate himself. It's as simple as that. This is what he's done since he's 15.
What did you make of the ballot draw?
Look, I've been through plenty of these before, Jared, and I don't think anyone should ever get excited about where they come on the ballot. Sure, people want to come first.
Higgins Anthony.
Guilty. He actually told someone he wanted to crush me after that. Yeah, that was his words, and that made me feel very happy. It really did.
Was that the only win he's going to have this campaign?
You betcha.
We don't get him this time, we'll smash him next time. Crush him.
Do you reckon a lot of people will stick around and hand out for the federal election?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
In 1996, well, it was a disruptive time for the electorate, but the outcome of that was we had Joe Gash as the member for Gilmore for quite some time.
It was actually David Gray who asked me to stand. He came to the Southern Highlands and asked me to stand for the seat of Gilmore.
How do you think the electorate's going to respond to a parachuted candidate federally?
I mean, that's always difficult.
The current day party hierarchy will have you believe that it's okay and that people are entitled to their views, but those old-timers that have been here for decades being against what is currently happening shows you just how deep these emotions run and how hurt they are still from 96.
But those that have got long memories and still remember, you can't bitch and moan about it and say, oh, there's a parachute being dropped when you were once a parachute.
I went for 3 pre-selections, one in 1993 and 2 pre-selections in 1996, where I lost both times by 1 vote and I was asked to stand again.
Do you think history will repeat itself?
Oh, yeah.
It could.
Out here handing out for Shelley Hancock, does that mean you've had your cup of tea with Shelley?
Shelley and I have had our cup of tea. We're the best of mates, and we're working together. Shelley Hancock. I want Gareth to be re-elected. I want Shelley to be re-elected because we need to retain these seats, and so I want to transfer that local support then to me.
Nats have got mine.
We had 400 people on booths today.
I think what was done to Schultz was a disgrace.
So why are you helping Schultz?
I've chosen my side.
This time 8 years ago, we were casting your vote pretty confident. How are you feeling today?
Look, I feel relieved that it's over. I mean, obviously campaigns take their toll. For me, what I've been able to do as a local member is, I suppose, say to people, here's what I said I would do, and people can see evidence of that. But I'm loving what I'm doing. And you know what? If I'm still doing this 4 years from now, I'm coming back to my community saying, please re-elect me, well, I'd be a very happy person. That's it. That's it.
8 years ago, this electorate put its trust in a boy from Bomaderry High, the first Liberal member for Kiama. 8 years later, they said, let's have 4 more. Welcome to Bomaderry.
I can't imagine locals sit there saying, you're not one of us.
He is a phony and he needs to go back to where he came from.
That is such a right-wing attack on people.
Setting up the budget. Yeah, what a great first visit. Come and see you.
Yeah, it was haphazard. It was all over the place. We didn't know who was going to be there. We were expecting the big Sydney and Canberra media bus to arrive with the Prime Minister.
Well, they might not be here anyway. They might not have time to get here.
A bit of miscommunication about who was actually going to be there. One of the things that his media advisor said that they want to do is focus on getting his profile out there, which is what they're desperately trying to do.
We wanted to give you guys the exclusive.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bomaderry.
Captain's call on the parachute. Ramifications?
I think if the captain's call was for someone you'd never heard of, people would have more of a right to be pissed off. I can't imagine locals sit there saying, you're not one of us.
Sadly, the Labor Party is not with us this evening. However, plenty of people are here who do want the vote of these people at the upcoming election.
And I'm very disappointed that the Labor Party is not here.
I think it's a really bad call. I think it's a big mistake, an arrogant mistake.
Maybe we're in a race we can't win. So therefore, why turn up?
When it comes to a choice between a local community association and a national TV platform, I will choose our community every day.
Very bad call.
Well, let's face it, the Labor Party is tipped to win.
She might have been before there were 3 Conservative candidates in the race.
If Schultz the Nats and the Libs all preference each other, there's a massive chance that that's all going to make up more than 50%.
I'm not preferencing anyone.
I don't dislike Grant. Just wasn't as sharp as I expected him to be. It's not that I think that they made the right choice with the captain's call, but there's obviously someone somewhere had doubt about Schultz's ability to do it.
Earlier this morning, I visited the Governor-General here in Canberra and he accepted my advice for an election to be held on the 18th of May.
That's a big sign. Joe, what's going on? Is that legal?
I think there's an election. It's a very effective way to know who's running and that Katrina's running, and that we're fair dinkum about being in this election and getting Katrina elected.
I am absolutely annoyed with the lies that the coalition are putting out there.
And I know why they're getting angry, they're getting upset, because the polling's tightened for them.
What sort of member would they be if they're doing that now? It's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace.
And I'm glad they're upset, and I'm glad that they know they're in for a fight.
You don't tell lies?
No, not like that. I'll see you again. Morning, night, day. Warren Mundine has the bus of lies. He is trying to scare pensioners. He should take his bus back to the North Shore of Sydney, where he's from.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Mundine.
Good day, thank you, mate.
How angry are you?
As a local, I am outraged. I'm absolutely outraged. He is lying to people in Gilmore. He is a phony and he needs to go back to where he came from.
How did that make you feel for going off?
Well, yeah, pretty good actually. I think Warren Mundine needs to be called out exactly for what he is, a complete phony. He is not from this area. Sure, he can stand, but he is lying to pensioners in Gilmore. He is lying to retirees. He is a phony and in no way should be the member for Gilmore.
As the wheels on this bus continue to go round and round, so too is the political point scoring and gamesmanship of the campaign so far.
So not only is it a lie to people in Gilmore, he's changed the paint job. He doesn't support pensioners at all. He is a phony, an absolute phony, parking illegally as well.
Come over here, we'll check your eyesight, Fiona.
Says bus parking. Can't you read?
Am I illegally parked? No, I'm parked in the bus parking zone, as you can see by the sign there.
Carrying on like a little 5-year-old kid is not the way to go.
So this is not the bus of lies that Labor's claiming?
This is the bus of the truth.
What are you doing about retirees?
Why aren't you being louder about the retiree tax? They're peddling absolute lies. I am a local. Every single day of this campaign, retiree tax has been raised. They have come to this electorate. They are not from this electorate.
It's a tax on people who have worked all their lives in this electorate. I will most vehemently oppose it.
They have come here and they are peddling their lies.
Who is the real Liberal?
The only reason they came to this electorate was to get a seat in Parliament. That is the only reason they are here. Don't be fooled by them. They don't care about you at all. I will stay on the subject. Yes, please stay on the subject. Well, that is the subject. Not calling the other candidates liars. Well, they are.
I think it was really important to be a little bit different, and I wanted to do something that actually showed that. And, you know, I mean, look, anyone can run in an election, but at the end of the day, I'm a local, and I wanted people to understand that. I wanted people to understand that the coalition candidates are running a massive, misleading campaign, and they need to be held to account. So there is no retiree tax. So I think it's about time that other candidates start being honest with the community. You know, where are they today on pre-poll? Where are they? They're not here. They're not even here. You know, I think that says it all.
It's day 4 of pre-poll here in Nowra, and Fiona Phillips is the first candidate to turn up. The first handshake for the day.
Let's start with some comments that you made to Win News Illawarra yesterday. Did you say he's a phony and he needs to go back to where he came from?
What I've said, Mundine has rolled into town straight from Sydney's leafy North Shore on his big business-funded bus of lies.
Because it's so quiet here and sometimes, it's nice to have the radio playing in the background. However, there are other people who didn't like to listen to the radio, particularly the news stories coming out of the ABC.
Oh. Fine, it's all fine. It's all good.
So while that report was going to air, Mr Mundine was sitting in his car listening.
And I was asked to turn off the radio and to put it away, particularly when the story about Fiona Phillips came on air. It was interesting to observe. That's all I would probably best to say.
Hard to listen to in front of everybody, or was it okay?
Not really. It wasn't hard at all, to be honest.
Your sparring partner's over there if you want to go and say hello.
Oh, yeah, I'm always happy to say hello to people.
People in the community are starting to get a greater insight into what the candidates' opinions and personalities are now.
No good morning, Fiona, like the other day. It's just, he's brushed her. Are we expecting an apology today?
Absolutely not. Okay, well, welcome everyone to Callanguddy Aboriginal Child and Family Centre. This is a beautiful family centre, but we've got a terrific announcement today, and that is $2.5 million for the University of Wollongong's Discovery Space, but specifically for an early start bus.
Why she was angry the other day just because of a bus. Everyone's got a bus.
You know, some of your comments yesterday were pounced on by Warren Mundine. Do you feel like they were taken out of context?
Look, I'm happy to talk about that, but yeah, look, not right here with the children.
Interesting, doesn't want to muddy the waters. A positive announcement with not such a positive story.
As we mentioned inside, obviously some comments that you made were pounced on by Warren Mundine. Do you feel like they were taken out of context?
Oh, look, absolutely. Look, Warren Mundine.
Absolutely. The Sydney people gobbled up that media release and ran with their headlines crying racism without probably looking at it in depth. It could have been interpreted as being racist, taken out of the context in which it was said, which is something that I think perhaps the campaign has seized on.
Will you be apologising for your comment?
No.
You do not tell Aboriginal people to go back to where you come from. That is such a right-wing attack on people.
It's gobsmacking that Mr Mundine has labelled it a right-wing comment, because he is from the right.
Hey Warren. How you going, mate? Good to see you again.
Where we're standing today is really important. It's important because here in the seat of Gilmore, they will not only decide who their next member of Gilmore will be, but it's also one of those key seats around the country where the people of Gilmore will get to decide who the next Prime Minister should be.
I guess what surprised us and really had us on the back foot was the media scrum. Never seen anything like it. We have hosted a Prime Minister here before with maybe half a dozen journalists and all quite tame, but I guess once you're into election year, all the gloves are off.
And so it is a big choice here in Gilmore, whether I should continue in that job as Prime Minister or whether Bill Shorten should become Prime Minister.
This time, because Mr Morrison wouldn't answer any of our questions, I've written this on my notepad so that I can... Yeah.
Just put it right in his face.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Bill. How are you? Nice to see you.
Go in, everyone else stay out.
That's depressing.
One, two.
I'd like to welcome Bill Shorten to our electorate today.
Great to be back in Nowra. It's my 6th or 7th or 8th visit here. With Fiona Phillips.
Story in the newspapers this morning about your mother. Is this campaign dirtier than the last one you fought?
You know, I saw a pretty bloody lazy editorial that they play gotcha about your life story. More importantly, my mum's. All of what I've said is all of what has been said before. Thank you.
A couple more questions for me and then we'll go to feed.
Local, please.
That's a catchy technique.
Last time you were here, I think it was 4 days before the 2016 election, and you said that Fiona was an outstanding candidate, and clearly the polls said then that locals didn't buy it. Why should they this time?
Well, first of all, they've got to know Fiona better. Secondly, the sitting Liberal member's gone.
I think on the ground it's close, but we're competitive. Last time you voted for Turnbull and got Morrison. This time you vote for Morrison, and who knows what you get. And also, the Liberal Party in Gilmore is terribly divided. And remember, if they can't run themselves, how do they run the nation?
We could see some turbulence for me.
They would have given her hell. I'm sure Gareth Ward is waiting for my phone call.
An absolute disaster.
Destructive.
Oh my gosh. Same answer. Look in a mirror.
So the word is out. Mr. Ward will be here this morning at pre-poll with Mr. Mundine. And guess what? His old sparring partner has turned up.
He hasn't been over to say hello yet, so we'll wait and see what happens.
No, we're busy. I'm busy winning votes.
Washing my hair.
Party.
Washing my hair. Do you think he's wearing the true colours today, or is he wearing his Mundine shirt inside out?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what his true colours are, to be quite honest. He was not wearing Mr. Mundine's shirt. He has been absent in this campaign completely. That is the first time I've seen Mr. Ward here at all.
Hang on, his nose does grow a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't judge me by your own degraded standards. One thing about Fiona Phillips, and that is she is absolutely consistent. She's consistently lost every election she's ever stood for.
I'm sure Gareth Ward is waiting for my phone call.
I have to say, would be a disaster. An absolute disaster.
I'm getting a new appreciation for Gareth Ward through some of those comments.
Oh, she's left behind, can I tell you? That's where she'll be on election day.
Oh, really? That's not what I've heard.
You voting today, sir?
Yeah.
Would you like one for Katrina Hodgkinson? I'm the former member and I think Katrina would be a great replacement.
Yes. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We could see some turbulence for me, and one of my colleagues said to me, why don't you just join the Nationals? Because the Nationals, unless you're a really, really poor performer, they don't have pre-selection battles. You could put mine on top, Ewan. Okay. But I had discussions with some quite senior Nationals about 2 years ago who said, and this conversation is private, no, it doesn't go any further. If you want to come join us, we would love to have you, but we're not telling anybody that you've spoken to us. And they never did.
Anne, great lady, very good lady, and I'm a bit unhappy about some of the things that happened in that space. I reckon she was done over, and I'll call it as it is, and I think we've got to square this thing up a bit.
At that stage, another friend of mine said, well, it's probably not a good move, people wouldn't think kindly of you. So that would have been a very interesting scenario.
How close was that to happening?
Well, probably wouldn't have taken very much to convince me at that stage. I'm Anne, the previous member,
yes.
And I think Katrina would be a fabulous replacement for me.
Oh, you're being replaced, are you?
I am. I'm not running this time.
Okay.
So this is the next best cab off the rank. Getting everything up for the bridge was my foundation stone for the 2019 election. And so emotionally and intellectually difficult in August of last year, in 2018, when for no reason at all, my executive committee was rolled.
We heard you were quite upset in the meeting at the Electoral Council last night, and that you actually walked out. I mean, it must have been what happened.
Same answer. Not going to talk about it, but thank you for asking. When a number of my senior colleagues were behind me, my patron senator was behind me.
Everybody wanted Anne to stay on. The former Prime Minister wanted her to stay on. Scott Morrison wanted her to stay on. But in the end, Anne made a decision that there was too much water under the bridge and she was going to go.
So to have the AGM held and to have my entire executive rolled was a life-changing event for me.
But in politics, it's always important to keep an eye on your backyard. And unfortunately, that wasn't possible in these circumstances. I don't know why.
Perhaps we should have looked after our backyard, but you don't expect all your branches to be rolled and then to have your FEC campaign team with people who have no inclination of running a campaign, like Adam Straney, who took the presidency, hasn't been seen since. And I understand he hasn't rejoined. Was that worth it to do what we did? No, it was not.
The place is split. Anne has her supporters and the other side has her supporters. It's just like any organisation, you know, it's sort of some for, some are against.
And I went straight back to Scott and said, we need to fix this. He said, give me 2 weeks. And he came back to me and said, Anne, we can't fix it. And I said, well, I can't work with these people.
But she chose to do what she did because she knew she could not fight every branch and the local Liberals because they would have given her hell.
When I took the position as Vice President of Gilmore EVC, it was with the intent of getting Anne back in, but Anne chose not to.
And he said, I can endorse you straight away. So I said, it doesn't matter whether you endorse me or not at this stage. I need a working committee, right? And he said, well, I can't fix that. And I said, then I can't run. So I pulled my nomination.
Look, it's unfortunate that there were differences within the party on the ground.
I had been advised that by a very senior member of the local branches that my chances of getting through pre-selection were slim to nothing.
The numbers were just there, as my old boss John Howard used to say. It's the iron laws of arithmetic.
And for no good reason. I would have won this seat.
This is my three favourite things. Books, coffee and cake. Yeah, we're ebony and ivory here. We're together. Keeping Bill Shorten out, that'd be great. Look at that, nice bus.
Warren Mundine is the best voice this area could ever hope to have.
We're the only ones who work with small businesses. Small, commercial, profitable businesses create jobs.
See how good he is? See how good he is? Eh? Passionate.
I didn't have to say anything at the press conference.
No, well, I did notice that.
Kicked off the week one.
Bonnie from the Greens went after me yesterday,
Oh, no
saying
way.
that I wasn't giving Carmel enough credit. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've spoken to Carmel plenty of times, actually. If you're getting criticised from the left and criticised from the right, you must be
doing
all right. Mr McCormack, you've got two runners standing either side of you. Who should they vote for?
Well, people can make up their own mind as to who's going to deliver the best options, but I tell you what people should do, vote with a coalition government.
My sources are telling me that Fiona's going to win this by a long neck and we'll have a result on the Saturday night.
That's new, I guess.
The problem with politics is you plan it, you pay for it, you research it, you build it, and some other bastard gets in and cuts the ribbon.
I'll just wait 2 months.
Wasn't sure whose bus it was going to be then.
Long as it's not the bus of lies. I am very disappointed that the Liberal candidate and the Morrison government have not committed the $35 million to Shoalhaven Hospital. Show us the money. Commit to Shoalhaven Hospital like we have.
Fiona's got this seat. Do you think she's done enough to get over the line on primaries?
Well, I'll tell you what, if being the best candidate is what wins you elections, then 100% Fiona's got it in the bag.
Time will tell, I suppose.
Thank you.
Welcome to Narra again. It's great to be here. Great to be here again. Cheers, Warren. We should raise a glass to Bob too. To Bob. To Bob Hall.
Sweet as. All right, we've got 20 seconds, gents. Busy day, Mr Morrison?
Very. Started at Townsville, went to Cairns, and ended here.
Wow. Mr Morrison, why Nowra and why now?
This will be one of those very important seats all around the country that will decide who the next Prime Minister will be.
I thought it $1.
Victory for the Morrison government.
Second time lucky, you think?
Definitely.
Labor's vote has barely budged from 2016, so 3 years of work from Fiona hasn't budged her primary vote, even by 1%. Her vote is still stuck.
So she hasn't done enough.
Well, it'll be seen tonight, I guess.
That could be me on that losing end. It could be Fiona Phillips on that losing end. So I'm not conceding till every one of those votes are counted.
Are you still feeling hopeful?
Of course we are. Why have I got such a big grin on my face?
The next member for Gilmore.
And why is that? Because we lost it, not because they won it. They didn't win Gilmore.
The only way you can rebuild them, the only way the Liberal Party will ever become an effective force in this area, they need to clean out some of the problems that led to all this.
Grant said to me, it's my turn. You think, are you kidding me? And I said, why? He said, well, I can do this. And I said, you don't need to. I'm already doing it. So if anybody is responsible for the loss of this seat to the Labor Party, it's Grant.
I spoke to Grant when he was packing his office up, probably a week after the election was over, and I asked him in one word to describe Joanna Gash, and he said, treacherous.
Well, that's a word that I would not have expected from him.
He also said, when I asked him to describe you, he said,
follower.
I would like to give the advice that's been given to me on many occasions when I was discontent with certain circumstances, and that is when a circumstance doesn't suit you, why don't you look in a mirror?
A follower. Well, then he doesn't know Anne terribly well either.
Asked one word to describe Joanna Gash and answer Marlis, he said,
destructive.
Oh my gosh. Same answer, look in a mirror. Because had he not even tried to stand for pre-selection, this whole scenario would have been completely different.
Destructive perhaps to his mind because he didn't win.
Any regrets?
No. In fact, I feel quite vindicated by the decision to go ahead and run as an independent. That message to the Prime Minister needed to be made loud and clear. There's no one to blame but Scott Morrison.
No, I don't believe the PM lost the seat. He should have perhaps listened a little bit more to the branches. I wished he had recalled the pre-selection.
Obviously there was a lot of tumult around the Gilmore pre-selection, but I think that the people that were behind the division have largely moved on, with a couple of exceptions.
There isn't a single individual who doesn't have blood on their hands that caused the loss of Gilmore.
There was never any doubt in my mind that Gareth Ward would have nominated for the seat if he could have.
If I was running for federal parliament, sure, there's a lot of things I'd like to do, but I think that there's more that I know how to deliver at a state level. I'm not ruling it out into the future.
He always said to me he wanted to be Prime Minister of Australia. Never doubted that. Never doubted it. And he may well be one day, who knows? I probably won't be here, but nevertheless, if that's to be, that's to be. I just like to respect people. I want to respect people. I can't respect him.
Suffice to say that we all have friends and we all have foes in this game, and it won't surprise you to know that I spend more time with my friends than I do my enemies.
He might have won the fight, but he hasn't won the war as yet.
Well, to quote the song, I'm still standing.